Okay, call the meeting to order. Washington Town Council, February 10th, 2025, 7 p.m. We have the agenda in front of us. Do you have anything to add or change?
Yeah, after discussing with the mayor, we needed to put in an additional in-camera session for, there'll be section point 16.6 FOIP to discuss Casterton Housing Authority.
Okay, I don't really have anything else.
And with the addition.
Marking the agenda with the additions. All in favor? Carried. Okay, the minutes from the January 27th meeting. Anybody see anything needed changing on there? Or?
Don't
Don't at me.
This is, I'll make a motion to accept them.
We accept them, all in favor? Okay. Business. Setting council budget meeting dates for 2025.
I think originally we had January 13th, that we weren't able to make council, so that night we were supposed to have a budget meeting as well, but we weren't able to, so we didn't set any dates past that, so I'd like to at least have two more before the end of March. To try and get the budget done before the end of March, so that way I can have something for the last meeting in March to provide to council and the public. I know it's gonna be a little bit earlier this year, but I don't know if I'm gonna be here quite a lot in April with a new baby on the way, so I'm gonna try, I just want to get ahead of it, and then if we do have to go into April, at least it's more just tidying up versus
Finalizing things.
yeah. Trying to make sure that we get as much information squared off as possible. And then also saying that we do have our auditors next week, so Tuesday to Friday next week, we'll have audit here. And then hopefully we can get all the information from the provincial government that's still outstanding. Most of it's actually come in this year early. So our assessments, all that stuff was completed about a month early this year as well, just because we were able to get all the numbers in. So it looks like the timeline will work well. So that's my pitch.
Well, for the dates you've provided for February, obviously I'm not around. I am available the 18th out of all those days, but that's it for me.
And I did leave out the 20th date periods just because we do have a lot going on Monday, Tuesday following. But if you did want to go into those days as well, more than welcome to. I just kind of cut it off there for purpose, but it doesn't mean that we can't use those dates either.
You're talking like the 26th.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for March, the only dates that were not going to be available would be March 5th to 7th, because that's Spring Leadership Caucus. And other than that, it'd just be holidays. That would be the only thing that would hold us back.
How long do we have to advertise
These meeting dates?
Yeah.
We don't. It's just
on these?
we just set the dates and then we can meet.
So are we gonna be able to get all our numbers together by the end of March?
I think we should be able to get a large chunk of it. I don't know if we'll get 100%, but we should be able to get a large chunk of it.
And Wednesdays are your bad day right now? Is that when you're pretty much busy?
For the next little while anyway.
And we'll post this on the digital sign as well, and we'll just throw it on the website for the meeting dates as well, just so it is out there.
How many did you want to have? At least two?
I think 2 would be good.
I think at least.
I think we did discuss quite a bit in December, so I know that we do have quite a few quotes that can come back for those discussions that were left open-ended, and then once we kind of sit down and chat about that, it's just more about where and what course do we want to take on it, or if we want to touch it this year or not. So it'll just be more of those kind of conversations to know if we want to move forward, for example, like selling the grader and replacing it with a new one, or replacing a 3-ton truck or something like that. So it's gonna be more of those conversations, figuring out what we want to tackle this year and touch this year. And then I can also go over what grant opportunities we put out.
The 18th, I'm back. That's the only day that week, or that in that whole February, that's the only one day. available.
What about the 18th for you?
18th is open for me right now, yeah.
Yeah, we could do that.
So we want to do the 18th to start with?
Well, I think, yeah, we should try and do one in February for sure.
That would be the one in February.
Yeah, and then do one in early March.
Do you want to do them early again, or do you want to do it at 7?
Well. 30, we're just.
See, I'm okay with staying at 5:30.
I need at least half an hour to get done work.
For the 18th then? Is that out of here?
18th at 5:30?
Sure. Add, there we go. Perfect, now that week's solid.
I'll find
Oh, it's
three months from now.
Yeah.
It looks good. By the time it's that month or year.
Yeah, that's mine, it's just da 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 da. Okay, March,
Probably prefer earlier in March, that way you can get things done.
Yeah, we could, that'd be great.
Third?
Third works for me.
I can do the 3rd, but I'd have to probably, well, I could probably be here till like 8-ish. If we start at 5:30 kind of thing again.
I don't think we want to go much later than 8 anyway.
Oh, I don't really want to, I just have another meeting that night. So 3rd at 5:30?
March 3rd.
Done.
Okay, so I want to make that motion.
I'll do that.
Mark, who's that?
18th and the February, 3rd of March.
All in favor? Carry. 9.1, new business, Cornish Music Festival Association.
Okay, so the music association had reached out to council with a letter, requesting support for their annual
That would,
music festival.
we donated 500 to them.
I care, I just know we've always donated.
Yeah, it's always been,
I think that was 5. Just been, it's the number that popped in my head when I read that.
Yeah.
So it was 500.
I think we should, if you get 5, we should up it that much at least.
yeah, the letter didn't actually have a number on it, but
That's. It didn't say what was asked, but
Well, I do want to entertain a motion to give them 500. To support.
mhm.
I know it's a very big thing, so brings a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of
then the
people.
dance brings even more in, yeah, that's separate.
Did we ever find out how much we gave last year?
It's been 500 for the past few years.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You still want to go at 500?
Yep.
Okay, Brett made a motion, give him 500, all in favor? 9.2. Review or update 2015 traffic control bylaw.
okay, so this item came up for discussion from a couple of issues that got brought to my attention last week. So one of the issues was electrical cords over sidewalks. Now in our bylaw, it states that electrical cords going over the sidewalk or above the sidewalk is not permitted, period. Like there's just, you can't have it going across into the boulevard or to the streets, so to speak.
which doesn't really work for some people.
And that's where I kind of wanted to come to council and ask if we could get this amended and changed for later, because it's, as a person that struggles to have a car that barely starts in the winter and it needs to be plugged in. This is kind of crucial for some people, so,
No, I agree.
So I saw the letter online.
yeah. So one of the things that we did look at, other cities are allowing, as long as it's 8 feet above with some support and it's not gonna be a tripping hazard, or it's not gonna cause anyone to get hung up on it, or, you know, any clean equipment, something like that. So as long as it's got some distance between the sidewalk and height. So like the city of Lacombe, for example, that's what they're allowing. You can build an arch or you can use a tree.
Yeah.
As long as it's off the sidewalk and not on the ground. Some are allowing it to be on the ground if it's covered with mats.
Well, I was even wondering like if pylon or something, like just so it's obvious, but
Yeah, with the snow, because it,
covering it scares me.
yeah, they basically, when I looked into it a bit more, it's just more for the wear of the electrical works. You can't really tell if it's cracking or fraying or whatever. So a lot of places just went over top and then it wasn't on the sidewalk. And that's not a municipal liability at that point. So basically what they were doing is allowing it to go over and then down. So I know a few of the residents were pretty upset because that's what they had going on. And it was kind of tucked away that where it wouldn't be a nuisance. So they were just hoping that we could allow them to do that.
Absolutely.
Now, what we would have to do, and that's for this situation, we'd have to redo the bylaw. I would say we'd probably just redo it. It's 2015, so it is.
Gonna say.
You end up having to punt the other bylaw anyway, and
Yeah, and then we could also update some of the newer traffic control stuff from the Traffic Safety Act as well. That we could update in there and just kind of make sure it's more modernized. And not just speed, so it would probably take a little bit of time, so it's gonna be more for a next winter thing, but. In the meantime, I wouldn't know, or would ask if council would be okay with us allowing to. Allow people to put them over the sidewalk for now. Now, it will go against the bylaw, but basically what we could do is just not provide the fine.
Can we just ignore that section in our bylaw for this winter?
Especially when we know we're.
Kind of what I'm asking without asking, because you can't really.
and the thing is, we are changing the bylaw to
Yeah.
allow
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna amend it to deal with this, so I think.
Yeah, and I think as long as we're opening the bylaw for amendment, or, you know, replacing the bylaw with a newer one, then we should be okay. So that's what I was asking, just making sure that people can get those vehicles plugged in.
No, it's important.
Well, especially this week.
Yeah,
Last
My
week.
truck barely started this morning. It was plugged in, so it growled and groaned.
Well, the truck started this morning, it wasn't plugged in, so I'm pretty proud of it.
I gotta go try and boost mine.
It did take a bit of cranking.
Yeah, and that's basically where this came from. We got a few presidents that this will affect, so.
Do you want two separate motions?
Yeah, we'll need a motion for council to allow me to move forward with the revision, like redo
Redo the
the
bylaw.
traffic.
Put in the bylaw, yeah.
And then we'll need a motion from council that basically stipulates that people are allowed to do an overhead as long as it's, I would say at least 8 feet high, and it's gotta be at least a foot off the sidewalk, just so that we have some space.
Mhm.
That works.
Has to be an overhead. Can't say you put a mat down, so it wasn't a tripping thing.
I think we could allow that. I just worry with the snow the way it is right now, like they may have to kind of dig it into the ice if they were gonna allow that. And then, because we want it buried. so
I do also know, I know it's out in the middle of nowhere, but it's a fire hazard too.
we could definitely add that in for later on. I think that could be an option when it's still,
Well, we should look at that option too, because not everybody has a tree that.
45 below right now, how many people are gonna go out and build an arch right now?
probably 0, so.
Well, that's what I mean, like, let's just be realistic here, let's just let it go for this year,
Okay,
deal with it. And
well, as long as.
with it in the amendments.
With something, I think that would be fair.
That or maybe like you say, put a pylon or something, just so people see that, right? I don't
I
know.
think covering it takes out the trip
Yeah,
hazard.
yeah.
When we're talking.
For the most part, people just kind of put their cords on their front yard during the day and then just strung it out at night. It's not.
Quite a few that do that, yeah.
Right, so.
Now, I guess the only thing for safety wise, we just want to make sure that those cords aren't damaged.
Absolutely.
And that they're kind of not broken in any way, so that we're not creating an electrical hazard, and it's more, you know. Again, it's kind of one of those things where I know that a lot of GFI breakers are gonna pop before it actually shocks anyone, but we just wanna make sure that no one's getting hurt, so.
So when we come back with a new bylaw, is it gonna have less than 17 pages that we have now?
I would doubt it, because it's relating traffic
We
safety.
should try to do that, so we have less, less red tape, like. Didn't say you were gonna do it, I said we should try. Easier to read.
Well, I'll make the first motion to. I don't know which one we should do first. Just to allow for this season, I guess. The use of cords or whatever,
Yeah, okay. Brett
as long
moves
as they're
it
covered
again and
whatever, yeah.
either covered or overread.
Or overhead, yeah.
All in favor? Carried?
Excuse me.
I can make motion that we amend the traffic bylaw for bring it back for amendments or whatever.
Mark moves, we had man body 2015-637 traffic. So
It'd be a new bylaw number then, so.
I happen to have it open here, so that's all.
I would almost ask if we could just, maybe just say it's a new bylaw, because we do an amendment, it's.
Yeah.
still urban.
It ends up being a new bylaw anyway.
So would just. So what do you want to,
Provide you with,
Doesn't mean we have to change every word. We just add in what we want.
so yeah, just want to draft a new bylaw, traffic safety bylaw, is that what you want to go?
please.
Okay. Mark moving. Got a new traffic safety bylaw, all in favor? Carry. 9.2. No, yes, we just did. 9.3. Rescheduling a regular council meeting February 24th to February 25th.
Oh, we did
I
that.
thought we already did that too.
So just, we were talking about it through email, so we just have to make sure it's motioned for it. So we'd have to motion this and then it has to be advertised that the meeting's been changed, the meeting date. So, for the public engagement piece, the community visioning is what's being called on February 24th at 7 PM. We'll have to move the council meeting to February 25th with the two public hearings as well. For land use bylaw amendments and then the MDP third and final reading. Well, third, sorry, I'm saying this wrong. For the public hearing of the municipal development plan, and then then we could go through, depending on how that goes, then we would go through the next meeting and discuss those items for third and final reading.
Well, I'm willing to entertain that motion to change to our council meeting to the 25th.
Makes a motion, we move the council meeting from the 24th to the 25th. All in favor? Carried. 9.4, community vision and closed session.
Okay, so this was just more for information that the date for this would be set for February 24th as per the previous item. And that item would start at 5,
Thought we
sorry,
suggested it started later.
sorry, that's 7 PM. I accidentally left 5 in there. It'll start at 7 PM and then we will run as long as it needs to go. And Karen from Municipal Affairs, she will be down and she'll be basically helping to facilitate the meeting. Held at the community hall at this time.
Do we need to accept this information or just move?
I think we still need a motion for this to be solidified for the 24th date as well, just for advertising purposes. Because we do need a motion that it's been acknowledged that it was postponed.
Okay.
And then reading.
I can make that motion.
And you were gonna put it in the paper and stuff too, you said, right?
Yeah.
You have to have, yeah. Good.
So Mark moves motion, all in favor? Carried.
Excuse me. Skip right by there.
Okay, 9.5. 2025 Painters Regional Waste 2025 budget.
Okay, so the board had met for the 2025 budget and reviewed the budget for total revenue is 364,800, with the total expense of 364,800. There is no significant increase or changes really that have been made from last year. They did reduce the budget a little bit from last year. There's been some discussions about trying to get new waste materials and talking about contracts and trying to figure out how to maximize the use of the transfer sites as well as the relationship with Waste Connections. So yeah, lots of things going there. They don't really have any major things on the books except for the circular materials project that we've been working on as the 3 municipalities. So as of April 1st, circular materials will take over all of the recycling programs in the community, as well as at the transfer site. So right now, we've negotiated the municipal portions, so we've decided to opt out of the program. And what that means is they will come in and they'll just basically take over. So we didn't choose to do the opt-in where the municipality would still be a partner in that. It costs about the same amount of money that we would receive back, we would have to pay back in the program. And then the program wasn't going to provide us with any real benefit to stay in it. We didn't really get much of a say as through the contract and how things worked. So they're still going to stick with E360 for the portions or for the time being till the end of the year, and then they're going to reevaluate that. From what I've been told, they're probably going to stay with E360, which will help with our garbage collection, but there's no guarantee. They will not guarantee that. So depending on what they decide as province and how the program works, we don't really know yet. So one of the things that Paintearth Region Waste is working on is becoming a depot for circular materials as well, so that we can kind of use that as a stop point. Now they're negotiating those portions right now through the contract, so I can't really speak on that publicly. But basically what we're trying to do is trying to be part of the program that way versus trying to do it through the municipality. So it works out better in our benefit if we do it that way. There are going to be some hiccups and there are going to be challenges. So we will be provided by Circular Materials with the marketing campaign for January or April 1st. That we'll be releasing out, and then trying to make sure that everyone knows who to contact when there are issues and how the program's going to transition. So aside from that, I think that's pretty much all that was really on the table that night, except for some closed session items. So
Yeah, they realize they don't have the money they used to, that's for sure. They cut out some of the stuff they can't afford and they got more. Want to change some of the other, but we'll talk about that later.
Need a motion to accept their budget for now?
that's what it is.
Motion to accept
Move the
Paintearth Regional Waste Facilities proposed budget?
for 2025, all in favor? Okay. Reports. Wants to go first.
Sure.
I
I don't have a whole lot anyways, but
happened to look here, you were holding your hands.
Yeah. Wednesday, January 29th, I attended the physician recruitment meeting. Sure there. Just waiting on AHS to find out what's going on as far as that. February 5th, we were supposed to have an FCSS meeting, but due to bad weather, it was moved to tomorrow night. So I will be attending that tomorrow instead, and library tomorrow. And just a reminder that I'm gone from the 12th till the 17th. So that's all I got.
Thank you.
Run schedule.
Well, usually it's a little bit better.
Oh, I had that same physician recruitment meeting, yeah, just,
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah, it's basically,
It was kind of a shock. Huh?
yeah, and with the way it's gone now, everything's back in the municipalities' hands
Yeah.
in regards to recruiting doctors, so it's bidding war again. So it's,
Yeah, I remember that a few years ago when the KHS told us, oh, none of that.
Yeah, never
None of
again,
that, no.
never
none of
again.
that will.
Makes it too hard in
the
some
doctors.
communities and stuff. Yeah, I can't be doing that.
Now it's changed again and it's back to the old way where we have to bid against other municipalities and it's, yeah. it's gonna cost us, unfortunately, to fill positions. Yeah, and then I was supposed to be at the CDSS FCSS meeting, which got rescheduled till tomorrow, so. So, same schedule.
Any questions for Mark or Brad?
Oh, I meant to ask, are you still available Wednesday? To a PAPS?
We're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Yes, I am, but
Cause that's Wednesday too.
I'll go some of that because, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I had a Painter Regional Waste meeting, balancing budget and looking to update the member agreement as Halkirk is no longer municipality. Deadline for community enhancement grants, I'm pretty sure it was March 20th. We'll have to get that out when we get it more confirmed, and they will have a meeting March 26th to see which ones are successful. And yeah. Had a pre-arc meeting, discussed their budget, and it should be much the same as last year, their request. So. And we're hoping that everybody gets a extension on their CCTIF grant. There's one municipality has gotten a written letter that they have an extension, so should be, hopefully it's forthcoming. Town and Coronation Housing Zoomed with MP Engineering, quite a few over the application for Alberta Housing Loan Grant, CMHC loan, possibly forgivable loans. I take it they got it all in.
Yeah, everything's submitted. It was submitted on the Friday, the 31st.
Had the Braid, Bell River Association for Economic Development had a Zoom, one of their lunch and learns. That was quite regular, and this was Prairie Cans presented on programs they have for communities, and we should probably look at into theirs for possible grants for anything we want to do. And Braid is setting up a YouTube channel with a new web portal that get their info out to more people. So look that up, you can. Wellness Society, discuss some new equipment, getting prices on some replacement equipment, and the doors should be replaced and operating soon. So when they do that, people have to come in and get new fobs and sign a new updated membership form. The Castron District Housing Authority presented a budget for the lodge. Requisition amounts is going to be about the same. They plan on doing some, put new flooring in 15 rooms. They have 3 boilers that aren't as old as their other boilers were. They're starting to give them trouble, so they may have to replace them this year, 55,000 each. And we need some new tables and chairs. They don't have enough for everyone there. They're pretty well full, so.
Guess that's a good problem.
Yeah, it is. Well, they just told me, I'd go get some more. You need them. So. I have some questions on any of that.
Should accept our report.
I accept our reports. All in favor? Carried. Chief Administrative Officer Report 10.2.
Yeah, so just had a lot of conversations with CCTIF, MPE. So with the CCTIF, just making sure that we get everything kind of figured out for the project scope and timeline here. With MPE, we had gone back and forth quite a lot in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, hours on the phone, hours online on Zoom. So everything was submitted. So as far as I understand, the HPP portion of the loan application has been submitted and it's under review already. So they have received it, and we did provide everything we needed. So we are in next steps for basically they're going to figure out what our placement is and what our calculation is through the Alberta portion. And then the CMHC has been submitted, and it's in the pre-screening portions of the application process right now. So they're going to see where we kind of sit and if we're missing anything that they require further, and then they're going to get back to us before it's formally submitted through the program, but it's going to be pre-vetted first. So that was the update I had received today, actually. So we are on track for finding out where we sit in the placement. This doesn't necessarily mean that we've taken out a loan. It just means that we're trying to figure out where we sit with the points, because we're not allowed to actually know our points until we submit. And try and ask before we submit or while it's submitted, it's considered lobbying.
Yes, they were very adamant about that. No lobbying. After the thing,
So we had,
ask them how we're doing this.
in order to know anything or what we could get, what we would receive, the term, the interest rate, the whole 9 yards, we have to wait till they processed everything and then they'll tell us what it is and then that can come back to council for further discussion on next steps. So it's basically the first stage of moving forward, but it's no commitment at this point to actually take out a large scale loan. It's just more to see what our forgivable portions are, because we need to know that before we could provide council with any further direction or information. So that's where we've been kind of at with that. We've been spending a lot of time getting that cleaned up and submitted. And then just, you know, on some outstanding stuff as well. So we were able to get the assessments in the system updated and be balanced out completely in 3 minutes for the first time in years that we've been able to do that really quickly. I was in shock, so I did call the auditor and ran the numbers again, just double checking, and so we were good. So we did have a little bit of a hiccup with the linear assessment portions for the municipal taxes, which were cleared up with the province, so we were all good. So assessments, that's why assessment notices were able to go out early this year. So if anyone does have issues with their assessments, please contact the office. We'll get you in a contact number for Terry Willoughby. Contact him as soon as possible. It's your lifeline to getting into that conversation as soon as possible. Once that's completed, then you can make your decision whether you want to go through with an appeal process, or if you're good with the number change, then you're good to go. And then Terry will let us know what to do after that point. But basically, it's not us as a municipality that sets the assessment rates. So make sure if you do have any issues with your assessments, please let us know so we can get you in contact with Terry as soon as possible.
So contacting them though doesn't mean you have to pay the appeal fee.
No, our assessor's been really good to us in
Because
the,
that was something that's quite high if you have just regular kind of taxes, you're not gonna get it back even if you.
yeah, I always suggest trying to talk to Terry first. And then he'll tell you where you're at, and you guys can talk back and forth, and he usually tries to help people before the assessment. You need to pay for the appeal. Or he'll suggest or tell you how to move the process along. So he's really knowledgeable in that. He's really good to work with. And if you do, if you don't agree with this assessment, even after that fact, then you do have to pay that assessment fee. So, and then that moves to the SDAB portion, and then we'll set that up. That's a little bit more lengthy and time consuming, but it's part of the process. So, yeah.
Does somebody have
What else is there?
for Quentin?
And then I just the public, for the public's information, the chain on the sander belly snapped. So we did have to get a replacement chain brought in. That's been in now, and hopefully the sander will be up and running here right away. So we have been using and borrowing sanders from wherever we could in the meantime. So hoping to have that up and running by this week. So the sander should be back out. And then the grader was down for a day. One of the sensors went out on it and that was replaced, so it was back up and running. So guys will be out there trying to do as much as they can here in the next little while. Yeah, so that's kind of my update outside.
You have any questions for Quentin?
I'll move.
Just on your boards and committees, where you said worked on duplex rental agreement. It's kind of a fourplex, isn't it?
Oh, sorry.
Just. We have more than 2 people in there, so.
Pays better having 4 people around.
That's kind of what I thought.
Looking next to that's what we were talking about at CMHC stuff. So.
Quentin's
Mark
report.
music, Quentin's report, all in favor? Carried. Might want accounts payable. That's a It's not a very long one this time. Do we see anything on there? They,
I don't think so.
Make the motion to pay the bills.
those who pay the bills, all in favor? $11.2, revenue and expense report.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah, it's
I always like it.
Yearly is,
pretty early, yeah.
I like it this time of year.
I'll move to accept it.
Up to revenue expense report, all in favor? Carried. 16.1. Something, I need to write a whole bunch of things down.
I'm ready.
Should we go on camera?
Who's it going camera, all in favor? Carried.